He talks to you almost every day, FaceTime you to sleep, and alludes to a future with you in it. He makes you feel like you're his favorite. He's honest with you and seems genuinely into you. He has the potential to be the best boyfriend, but chooses not to be. Sounds familiar? It's safe to say almost every lady I know has been in a situationship with someone like that. And what I just described is the exact definition of a hybrid fuckboy. Hello internet friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Cam and I talk about everything through the lens of a female zillennial living in the West. Before I expand on the topic for today, I want to mention that these hybrids can actually be amazing people. And what came off as holery on their end is usually not intentional. Conflicting, I know, but I'll explain how it's even possible in a few seconds, so keep watching. Another thing to mention is that everything I say in this video is drawn from personal experience of myself and my friends who identify as cisgendered women. And the subject of discussion for today are also cisgendered men. So please be aware that this is not generalizing the experience of gender diverse populations. And even in the case of heterosexual relationships, I completely recognize that everyone has a different dating experience. Okay, if we're cool, let's start with how the hybrids differ from the OG F-boys. To put this in simple, plain language, the subtle difference lies in intention. Regular fuckboys just want to have sex with you. Hybrids also want the same, but they also need a little bit more. They want emotional connections. They want to feel loved and valued. They want a rock to lean on. They basically want the girlfriend experience without commitment. Now, how do we spot a hybrid? Here are a few key things to look for. These men usually have most or all of the following. 1. A very high trust background. And by these I mean good education, highly respected career, and bonus points if they know people you know, so good references. They're also likely to be charming communicators. Potentially very smooth talkers, know how to use words to work their way while resonating with you. Even more dangerous if they work in professions that call for strong verbal skills on a daily. Think about sales, business development, diplomatic affairs, and law. And a final blow, in my opinion, is their look. Particularly in a conventional sense. Physically attractive guys like Henry Cavill, Drake, Jason Momoa, Chris Evans.
So go to a shelter to find your dog. A lot of loving friends waiting for you.
Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. Did it feel like I was describing a picture-perfect kind of Prince Charming? They seem almost perfect, too good to be true, but there's always a catch. These hybrids are usually amazing men that have no emotional availability. And by being emotionally unavailable, I want to stress that it is not just about receiving love. They absolutely love to be showered with attention and care, but they're just not ready to reciprocate or give that love back. What could be the reasons? I can think of a few things. The most common one, they're not over the X. Another reason could be because they're highly desirable. Women throw themselves at these guys, so they're used to attention and they treat any woman as an option. Another good reason could also be that they have other priorities like growing their career, achieving financial freedom. These hybrids might see romance as value added, but not essential. So you're just like a trophy to them. It's nice to have, but they don't need you. Can any of you relate to this? Feel free to share in the comment section if you have experienced the same, and even better if you have more clues. So overall, men that fall under this category will happily see you and give you lots of hope, but will keep a distance when you ask for commitment and probably won't respond when you ask for any sort of emotional assurance. Imagine a 5-star Airbnb that has all the amenities you need and that your home but better vibe. It's pretty, is in a safe neighborhood, and the host is so trusty. When you step into that, it's like a breath of fresh air because you're somewhere new, but not the distant kind of fresh air like in a luxury hotel. It's just so welcoming, warm and fuzzy. And that's exactly how I would describe my experience with hybrids. These men have hosted so many guests in their lives that they know how to make anyone feel like home. They're like an open book because they've had their doors open and closed so many times. Unlike a 5-star Airbnb host that gives out welcome candies and drinks at your arrival, these hybrids will give you sweet bits of intimate information about them, like delicious treats to a dog. But you know, once the dog get a taste of good treats, they'll crave for a whole bag, without knowing that the whole bag is bad for them. With all that said, how do we conquer a hybrid and turn them into boyfriend material? I have no idea. Honestly, if I knew the answer to this, I wouldn't be single. I could be wrong though, but I believe being a hybrid F-boy is a phase that many hot and educated guys go through in their early years. Any man that's watching this, by the way, please feel free to jump in and correct. I also believe that changes have to come from within, so you cannot force anyone to be your homeboy against their will. They'll do it themselves when they're emotionally ready for it. Sorry if that didn't help though, but I can help you get out of the F-boy trap if you're in there. Before I explain my withdrawal techniques, I'd like to call myself out by breaking down the mistakes that I made so you won't have to go through the same. The first strike was made when I was not being truthful with my expectation from the other party. There was this one time during an argument I was being passive aggressive and asked the dude to be friends when I actually didn't mean it. And guess what? He took it literally. I was very butthurt. But at the end of the day, it was on me for not being honest with my feelings. So, beautiful people, please don't play mind games and just be honest about your expectation. And that happened all because I was confronting them at the peak of emotions. I could have taken time to cool down and reflect and organize my thoughts, but I was being hasty and didn't give myself the time and the chance to deeply evaluate my emotions. The result was me lashing out. I relayed my thoughts when I was extremely defensive and heated, which ended up hurting others in addition to hurting myself. So, my internet friends, please give yourself time to process your emotions before having any conversations. Only bring it up when you're very sure you can stay calm and collected until the very end. And lastly, to add fuel to the fire, the last strike was made when I made a scene on social media. It's okay to vent on social media, it's yours after all, but please be considerate and only share your story when it's no longer a big deal for both parties. Take more time than needed to process things internally, and trust me, once you're done with processing, you might not even feel the need to air anything. In my case, I didn't think much when I made the post, but now I think about it, I could imagine the face the dude might have made when he saw what I shared. Please save yourself some honor and don't be like me. As I previously mentioned, hybrids can be amazing people and could make great friends. My attempt of withdrawal failed miserably. I burned bridges to crisps, and you shouldn't aim for that. Even if nothing romantic can happen, it's still valuable to maintain a friendship. You can do so by being honest, patiently explaining your expectation, and respect their final decision, even if it's not the outcome you wish for. You might not want to be in a relationship with a man when he's still in his hybrid phase, but if you're persistent, know that you must be able to outsmart them emotionally, which means stay level-headed and do not at any point devalue yourself to cater to them. I learned the hard way that once I bend over backwards, men stop putting effort and start taking me for granted. The key here is to maintain a balance of reciprocation because a relationship needs to yield equitable outcomes romantic outcomes for both parties. Neither you nor the other person should feel like you're chasing after one another at all. Woo! Thank you for hearing my rant. I hope that was helpful, or at least entertaining. Before I wrap things up, I'd like to mention one final thing to set your emotions off the right path in this journey of finding the right dude. If you're in a happy relationship and you somehow end up watching until this point, maybe you need to hear this too. What I want to say is, it's good to be cautiously optimistic, but please brace yourself for the worst and be brave enough to walk away when the worst comes. But I'm not saying this to discourage you from going on more dates. What I want to say is there might not be the one, and this one might not work for some reasons, but there are many other ones out there. So it's not the end of the world when the momentary worst comes. Remember, you have options too, and you will eventually find someone compatible, someone who you will love and will love you for what you are, as long as you keep dating and being the shot caller. Alright, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you want to hear me rant and ramble about similar topics, please subscribe. I'll see you again soon. Peace and love.